In Pit Lane would like to acknowledge the support of the following sponsors. We thank them for their support of In Pit Lane. Lots and lots. It's not just a packed program tonight, it's a very packed studio. Joining us a little bit later on in action this weekend out at Sandown in the TCR series, fresh off his recent second place at Winton Motor Raceway, Aaron Cameron will be joining us. Also, if you notice some people in blue, they are not the security people from the Australian Federal Police come to target us. No, they are in fact our band tonight. They are Interstellar Gator, and they'll be joining us a little bit later on in the program. Once again, Craig Latigo, Doc is with me again. Doc, thanks for joining us.
Oh, absolutely pleasure to be here. What a cracking place it is tonight. It's electric. We've got some pumping pulsonic stuff going on tonight, I think.
We have everything's going well. I'm hoping if you knew the panic that was going on behind the scenes, right, just only 3 minutes ago, you would be amazed. But no panic after a big weekend of local motorsport, both on and off the track. Let's find out what's been happening. This is the In Pit Lane Motorsport News. A good weekend for locals as New Zealand drivers dominated the latest round of the Australian Supercar Championship across the Tasman at the Pukekohe circuit. Race 1 winner Shane van Gisbergen took out the overall win for the weekend to win the prestigious Jason Richards Trophy. But it was the final race won by McLaughlin that attracted the controversy after a safety car incident that cost some drivers their chance at a podium finish. The problem began when Jamie Whincup took it upon himself to pass the safety car, throwing race control into confusion and an existential crisis not seen since the days when Jean-Paul Sartre was trying to pick up Simone de Beauvoir in a Paris coffee shop while smoking Gauloise. The chaos apparently so bad that local government officials called a mental health state of emergency, and local volunteer rescue units backed up by the New Zealand military were immediately dispatched with pots of warm tea, soft cuddly blankets and chocolate chip cookies. Tigford Racing's Cameron Waters claimed the debacle was so great that the race shouldn't count for championship points. Race control, led by the experienced Tim Schenken, defended their handling of the situation, but Jamie Whincup, who caused all the chaos in the first place by clearly breaking the rules, has been called on by Cams to explain his post-race comments, where he claimed the officials were just cruising back, just having a few glasses of red each night, and rocking up to the track and brains not with it. Cams will decide if there should be any penalties for possible breaches of national competition rules. Meanwhile, in Las Vegas, NASCAR, who know a thing or two about safety cars, saw Martin Truex Jr. break a 10-race winless streak to win the opening round of the NASCAR playoffs. Truex drove his Joe Gibbs Toyota to a 4-second win over Kevin Harvick, taking the lead on lap 248 of the 267-lap race. Brad Keselowski was third. The race was free of any major incidents. Kurt Busch, the only non-finisher, after an accident on lap 187 following a tyre failure. A third place in race 2 was enough for Audi driver Rene Rast to wrap up the 2019 DTM Championship with still one round remaining. Rast led all the way in Saturday's first race, with teammate Jamie Green winning Sunday's main race. Nico Muller needed to finish 5th or better to keep his title hopes alive, but when Jonathan Aberdeen overtook Muller 2 laps from the end of the race, the title was Rast's to keep, with the final race at Hockenheim now merely a formality. In Japan, Super GT has launched its new cars for the 2020 season. The standout newcomer is, of course, the new Toyota Supra, which replaces the current Lexus LC500. The Nissan GTR remains mostly unchanged, apart from even more aerodynamic winglets. Honda's NXX looks pretty much the same as this year's car, at least in the flesh. But under that carbon fibre bodywork, the new car is in fact front-engined, thus ending the company's special dispensation to the rules. In MotoGP, it was another thriller as Marc Marquez passed race leader Fabio Quartararo on the final lap to deny the young French rider his first MotoGP victory. Maverick Vinales was third ahead of veteran Valentino Rossi. Australia's Jack Miller finished ninth. And in NHRA drag racing, a return to the winners list for Australian top fuel driver Richie Crampton. In a battle of Kalitta Motorsports in the Top Fuel final, Crampton took the win when he defeated teammate Doug Kalitta with a 3.738 pass at almost 530 km per hour. The win means Crampton now ties team owner and NHRA legend Connie Kalitta with 10 career victories. Jack Beckman broke through for his first win of the year in Funny Car. His whole shot 3.958 second pass at just over 531 km per hour gave him the win over John Forster's quicker 3.952 second pass. Jason Line earned his 50th Pro Stock title when he defeated Fernando Quadara in the final round with a 6.553 at 339 km an hour in his Camaro. And on two wheels, it was a Winton Jerry Savoy in Pro Stock bike. Savoy picked up his second consecutive win on his White Alligator Racing Suzuki, beating Steve Johnson in the final round. And that is the In-Pit Lane news for the week commencing Monday, the 16th of September 2019. We'll have more news next week.
Since that news was recorded, Jamie Whincup has made a statement regretting his post-race outburst. Although he stopped short of a full apology, in the statement Whincup said every athlete in any sport needs to follow the directions of the officials, whether they feel like correct decisions was made or not. I recognise I am a role model, and so the critical point I want to make to all the kids watching is that passing the safety car and going against the official's decision is how we should play. In hindsight, I wish I made a smarter split-second decision. Whether the statement will be enough for Whincup to avoid some sort of sanction from CAMS over his comments will play out over the next few days. And sanctions could include a fine or worse, suspension of Whincup licence. Not good when the next race is Bathurst.
Yes, not good at all. We're going to take a break now. We're going to possibly talk about that while you're away watching these words of wisdom from our friends at Channel 31. When we come back, we'll be joined by TCR racer Aaron Cameron. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Okay, well, that was Aaron. Before we go, before we move on to the rest of the program, talk about what your sort of feedback from the weekend. What do you think about all that? Did you watch it at all, or take much notice of what was happening?
Yeah, I was on the couch watching the race, and for me it was definitely Jamie's fault. He started the whole thing, and certainly his comments after the race weren't very smart either. So from the standpoint of a driver, when you're faced with that situation, you come up behind a safety car. What is it that he should have done? What is it that you would do? Well, it's pretty simple. The yellow lights are flashing. If there's a green light, you obviously pass, but it was pretty clear that the yellow light was still flashing, so you have to stay behind and wait till they sort themselves out.
Aaron, is that quite clear through all the categories that you race in? Like, you've raced overseas now as well, though, too. Is it quite clear that it's pretty standard, straightforward rules around Australia and all overseas? It's common sense? Yes, it does change a bit. In Australia, we love chucking safety cars out. We're overseas, they love doing code 60s and virtual safety cars and all that sort of stuff, which I sometimes prefer, but it all depends on the situation. Yeah, and I think the thing is, if you can get the opportunity, the whole reason they brought in Code 60 and the virtual safety car was to try and end some of the problems about. I mean, safety cars are inherently going to disadvantage some people and advantage some others. But the bottom line for all of these things is you've got to protect the marshals who are out on
on the track doing whatever they're doing. So, and that's the bottom line. It's really not up to a driver to take it upon themselves to just say, well, you know, like Jamie did say in his original comments, well, you know, I gave them the opportunity to go to green, they didn't, so I went past. Well, yeah, you can't take that upon yourself, because the thing that you know, really surprises me, and we talked about this before, is if you watch the World Endurance Championship, Eduardo Freitas, who was the clerk of course for the World Endurance Championship and the European Le Mans Series, has a direct line to every single car, and also to the rest of us through the media. I mean, it just goes. It takes over. He takes over everything, and he explains in very simple. The safety car is coming out. It's going to pick up car number 88. Stay in position until we sort everything out. Then we'll work out who should be where and when. And he will move people around. It might take an extra couple of laps, but he'll make sure that people first are safe, but also people are as, you know, as least inconvenienced as humanly possible under those circumstances.
I think the 2 points you touched on that are most important there, Brett, are one, it's the safety of the officials, safety of the drivers, and safety of everyone around the track, including spectators. That is paramount to anything like that. Secondly, you've mentioned, it adds to the theatre of it. Yes, the safety cars, there must be a reason for it, there's been an accident, something like that. However, inherently, elaborating to what you just said a second ago, Aaron, is that you have your good days and you have your bad days, and sometimes it's going to hinder you, sometimes you're going to take advantage of it. And that's just the luck of the draw. No one can time when someone's going to clip someone else's bumper or run over someone else's wheel or turn someone around accidentally, you know. You can't control the aggression or the moves of someone else. So you've got to have your good days and bad days. But I think the two things, safety is paramount for everybody, and the penalties are there for a reason, to keep everybody in that position.
Yeah, I just hope out of all this they do have a look at this. They look at the whole safety car situation in Australian motorsport, and they find a way of making this sort of, you know, less arduous than it normally is, because Australia has never got the safety car right. I mean, it just, you know, there's always problems. Back to the days of Moffat and Brock and all the rest of it, they were always problems with safety cars. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do, but you've got to.
Maybe time for a review. I mean, you don't have to make a full-blown exhibition of it and put out a public statement like that, but maybe it might be time at the end of a particular category series to have a look at what they can do better. I'm sure they do.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll do that now. I'm sure there'll be a complete look into it, and it might be something like. Do you think it would help if you know, like if they close the pits the moment they throw a full course yellow out, that they close the pits and just, you know, because what happens particularly in American racing at IMSA and that sort of thing. The moment a full course yellow comes out in a safety car, the pits are closed and everybody stays until everything's sorted out. Safety car goes, pits are open again, people can go in.
Yes, I certainly, it's good for safety and all that sort of stuff, but yeah, it certainly spices up the race if the pits are stayed open for the whole time, and makes it quite interesting for the guys watching on TV.
You do have a fair bit of experience, 5-6 years now, even though you look like a baby face on TV at a young age for all out there, but you've been overseas, you've raced in Dubai and Catalonia, etc. Have you seen somewhere else where they do it slightly better? Is there something that we could pick up?
Majority of the time over there with the 24-hour races, they do code 60s. There's never a safety car, and it's just code 60, hit a button on your steering wheel and it holds you at obviously 60k an hour for a whole lap. And
so that's with Graventic, is it?
Yeah.
They've got a very good reputation for doing that sort of thing.
And what they do during that time is that your maximum fuel tank capacity is halved, most of the time halved during the code 60 time, to stop people getting such an advantage out of safety cars. Or code 60s.
Yeah, they're smart operators, Graventic. They seem to do. They're very flexible. If they see a problem, they solve it pretty quickly. Hey, listen, we better go back to Channel 31 now and get on with the actual show proper. So, Pete, whenever they're ready in there, I should have. I lost my glasses on the way in. I lost my comb as well. So there you go.
As long as you didn't lose your phone. You can't lose your phone these days.
I'm hoping at some stage to lose my virginity. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to In Pit Lane. There, that's not an invitation to anybody watching. By the way, coming up this weekend out at Sandown, it's going to be a huge weekend. Not only do we have the TCR series, which has just taken off like nobody's business, But we've also got Australian GT Championship, production cars. We've got the Super 3 touring cars, the older, some of the older model supercars, and of course the world debut of S5000, which will feature former Ferrari Formula One driver and Formula One star Rubens Barrichello, and a growing number of young Australian talent as well. Ricky Capo has joined the field today. Tim Berryman from the historic Formula 5000. It's going to be a massive weekend. Look, just head out there. But our guest tonight will be behind the wheel of his Volkswagen in the TCR series. He comes fresh off of a second place in the final race at Winton a couple of weeks ago. He is Aaron Cameron. Aaron, welcome to In Pit Lane.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now let's go back to Winton. It all sort of it all sort of fell together. I mean, was that in your relatively short career? I mean, is that as good a weekend as you've had?
Yeah, it'd be up there because the level of competition in TCR is absolutely mega, and we'd sort of been building up the whole year with spasmodic sort of good results and good speed. But yeah, we knew Winton was going to suit our car's strengths.
With everybody I've spoken to who has come into TCR, the first thing they say is, front wheel drive is a real problem. It looks like some of you younger guys have grabbed that a lot earlier, particularly Will Brown. I mean, he seems to have found the secret of getting those rear tyres sort of when brakes warmed up. I mean, is that part of the secret to the success? Is that part of the secret sauce? Is finding out how to maximise your traction when you've got there's nothing really going through those rear tyres.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, literally our outlap to the grid and then the actual warm-up lap of the race is the most crucial time to get some rear tyre temp in, because that's when most of the moves are made in that first lap or two once the tyres get up to temp.
So how do you do that?
Really sharply turning the steering wheel, trying to load the tyre as much as you can. And
understeer and oversteer, Aaron?
Yeah, a lot of oversteer most of the time.
Yep.
Just trying not to spin out on the warm-up lap, and handbrakes. We pull the handbrake a lot to try and get some rear brake temp, and then whilst it's sitting on the grid, trying to get that temp to soak into the tyres.
The thing I find really interesting about TCR, when we went to the first round in Victoria down at Phillip Island, talking to a lot of the fans there, I mean, everybody was like really, really surprised at just how fast they are. Did that surprise you?
Yeah, I mean, I'd driven them a couple of times overseas last year, and yeah, the turbo power of these little things is just absolutely amazing compared to what you'd really expect out of them.
Aaron, there's 8 different manufacturers in the field at the moment, 17 cars. What a great spread. It must be a ball of fun driving your car up against 7 other different manufacturers, some of them the same as yours, some of them others, but they've all got their different strengths and weaknesses as well though too. It must be, every single person that you're sitting behind or who is in your mirror must have a different perspective on what they can do too. So it's just like throwing a can, everyone everywhere.
Yeah, and it's absolutely mega. I love it because everyone's got their different strengths, and we're a lot better through the corners and pretty good under brakes. Then you got the alphas who are just mega in a straight line. So yeah, it certainly brings in a different aspect to racing and the way people get their laps.
So you're not only just learning about your car because it's the first year you've been racing, but you're also learning about other people's cars as well then too, wouldn't you be?
Yeah, exactly. Each track we figure out everyone's sort of strengths and weaknesses and who's fast where, so in the racing we can best maximise what we've got.
So this weekend, as I said, a very, very big weekend, the TCR and of course the debut of S5000. Have you had a look at those things? I mean, is that something that appeals to you?
Yeah, I've had a couple of quick looks at them, and yeah, they're pretty mega bits of kit. So I'm pretty excited to see them roll out for the first time this weekend in racing. So yeah, it should be pretty cool with some pretty big names in the field as well.
Where do you want to go in terms of TCR? I mean, the thing is, you said you've already driven TCR like before it actually sort of debuted here because you raced in those Creventic events, and that's the thing that you can do now. I mean, we spoke to young Toby Williams a couple of weeks ago regarding the opportunities for young Australian drivers now in places like Asia and in events like Creventic, all those long distance races. Does that open up a whole new sort of a horizon for you guys? Yeah,
100%. Yeah, there's heaps of opportunities all the time that you have to go overseas, and especially the Creventic, because you need the 4 or 5 drivers to make it work for 24 hours. And yeah, I love my time with a couple that I've done, and hopefully in the future we can do a few more of them.
So what are your long-term plans? I mean, obviously, your short-term goal this weekend is to, find a way to pass Will Brown and those Hyundais. But I mean, right now, looking ahead a couple of years, what do you want to do, and where do you want to be in a couple of years' time?
Yeah, I think I want to head down this TCR route. I really like the cars, and I'm hoping we can get to some more TCR Europe, and maybe in a few years WTCR, which would be really cool.
Speaking of overseas and your aspirations, you did drive at Barcelona and Dubai. That must have been great just going over there and experiencing the world anyway itself, such a young age you are at 19 years of age. What did you learn driving the marque cars over there that you've been able to bring back and put into your own use with your driving over here? Yeah,
they're quite a unique car compared to the TCR sort of thing. So yeah, it's more over there learning when to pass and when to stay behind people and conserve the tyre, which has been really good so far this year in the TCR.
So you can add your skill set from some of the racing you've done over there as well, though, too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's been pretty mega. So hopefully we'll get back over there.
Now, if Brett allows me, I just want to slightly get off the subject here. I was just
very quick. Very quick.
Very quickly. I looked at your resume a little bit earlier this afternoon, and I looked at how many cars you've driven. You've driven A9Xs to little XLs to Mustangs to Fords. Anything but Fred Flintstone's little car I think you've actually done and pedalled through. What's your favourite of all of them?
Look, I don't discriminate against any car or anything like that.
What was the most fun then?
The Mark II Mustang was pretty cool at Bathurst 12 hour. I think that was 2017 or 2018. That was absolutely mega, doing a 2:07 around there. That was, pretty cool.
What sort of speed were you doing through the traps at Conrad?
I think we were doing 280, I think. So yeah.
That'll get your attention.
Exactly, it certainly got my attention, passing a few GT3 cars down the straight, so yeah, it's pretty cool.
And one thing I actually picked up on as well though too is some of those cars don't have the original engine in it. For example, the Mazda B250 had a Ford engine in it and all sorts of different ones as well though too. You're driving two Megas at the same time.
Yeah, 100%, yeah, them Super Utes are pretty cool bits of kit as well.
We're going to take a break now, so stay with us for the moment. But we're going to take a break on Channel 31, and we're going to when we come back for the third segment, we're going to be joined by our musical guest for the evening, Interstellar Gator. They're going to take us out, and we'll have more from Aaron Cameron. You're watching In Pit Lane across Melbourne and Geelong on Channel 31. Don't go away, and we'll be right back. Okay, but then now I think we've got, Pete, I think we've got a problem. Do we have a problem with the YouTube feed? Because I noticed there is no YouTube feed. Now there is, yes.
Yep.
Okay, so we are on YouTube. So
yeah, it's updated. I knew what was behind. It wouldn't load exactly like that.
Oh, okay, so yeah. So we've been going to where? Could you just find out from?
Cool. Yeah, I think one screen's frozen. Yeah, I'm going to kill that one. Yes, there we go.
Have we been going to where on YouTube in there?
Because the problem might be here.
Looks like it.
Okay, cool. In that case, that's good. Then we can introduce the guys then, and they can play their first song for us. Our band tonight, as I said, big band tonight, 5 pieces, no waiting, Interstellar Gator, and they play. We'll tell you about where they play and where you can contact them and hear more about them a little bit later on. Well, there you go, gigs. October the 4th at the Workers Club in Fitzroy. They're at Revolver upstairs in Paran. They're at Boney, is it? Boney or Bonnie? I don't know. City, no, it's November the 7th. There's all the details
Boney
there.
City, I think.
Boney City, I think
City
it is,
on November 7th, yes.
That's it. It's all sort of inner city stuff.
Where is Boney City?
Where is there? Yes,
it's Boney.
It's the
it's in the city. Oh, okay.
It's the capital. It's the capital of Boney. Boney City.
I didn't realise we created a new suburb just like that. It's easy to do. Can we have a postcode, please?
Just south of North Boney. Yeah. You can't miss it. You know. Well, you can if you blink quickly. You know.
But if you're going at Aaron's speed, you'll just drive straight through it.
You drive straight through it. They're actually applying to have a Formula 1 Grand Prix, you know.
Really?
They'll probably get it.
They'll beat Adelaide too.
No doubt about it. Now, as I said, before we were so rudely interrupted, Interstellar Gator are our band tonight, and right now they're going to play us when the comes back. What song are you going to play us?
It's called Bamboo.
Bamboo, that's the one. Ladies and gentlemen, Interstellar Gator and Bamboo.
Alone, looking sharp, but I know this is the virtual reality that I want for my own there all the time, in and out of a grave to possibly escape my doubt. Is this who I am, or am I lost to despair? Can I come back from this? Surely try to repair. Stuck in a cage made of bamboo. Love, will I find the one? Or do I actually really care? Or do I find my mom? Life is a dark by night, or am I actually truly scared? Or do I stand and fight? Is this who I am, or am I lost to despair? Can I come back from this? Surely try to repair. Is this who I am, or am I lost to despair? Can I come back from this? Surely try to repair. Is this who I am, or am I lost to despair? Can I come back from this? Surely try to repair. Who I am, or am I lost to despair? Can I come back from this and surely try to repair? Is this who I am, or am I lost to despair? Can I come back from this and surely try to repair? Who I am, or am I lost to despair? Can I come back from this and surely try to repair?
Gator, and they'll be joining us a little bit later on in the program. That's a bit of a bonus for those of you watching us on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel or via Facebook. Remember, if you are watching us via Facebook, switch over to the YouTube channel. It's a much better experience. The resolution, it's all high res, and it's wonderful. You don't need to see me in high res, obviously. I mean, watching me through a veil of electronically generated mess is probably a benefit, but certainly for the rest of the crew and everybody else, high definition is the way to go. Now we're just about ready to come back to channel 31, I believe. Do we have our time, Pete?
You've got 3 minutes and how long? 3 minutes 15 for the next segment.
Plus the song.
Plus the song, yes.
Plus the song. This is good. Yeah, you had me worried. You had me worried there for a second.
It would have been a short burst of song.
Yeah, very.
It would have been the.
Telling people what's happening in motorsport.
Yes, we are. We're going to. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Well, this week we'll remember, for those of you watching live, we're going to tell you what's happening this week in motorsport, thanks to our friends at the Motorsport Diary.
What's on in motorsport, brought to you by the Motoring Diary, a must-have for all motoring enthusiasts. What's on in motorsport this weekend? Well, the place to be is Sandown International Motor Raceway for the Shannons Nationals. It's the latest round of the TCR Australia Series. Australian GT is back. There's Super 3 touring car action, the production cars, and the world debut of S5000, featuring former Formula One star Rubens Barrichello and a host of Australia's fastest young talent. Anybody who's everybody will be there, and if you're not, you're being a fool to yourself and a burden to others. So have a go to get a go and head to Sandown this weekend for the Nationals and the world debut of S5000. If your taste doesn't run to cars going round and round in circles, perhaps some drag racing is more in order. And this weekend, it's Sunday Fun Day. Off-street drag racing returns to Melbourne's Calder Park Raceway. The weather's getting better, fingers are crossed, and we're ready to go racing. Or how about an afternoon of hill climbing? The Cams Club Challenge is at the Bryant Park Hill Climb. It's at Bill Schultz Drive, your lawn, this Sunday. And that's what's on in local motorsport this weekend.
Yeah, lots of good things happening around Victoria and particularly out at Sandown. It really is going to be one of the biggest meetings we've had for a long time. Does that excite you? I mean, the Shannon's Nationals is one of those things. It's like the Curate's Egg. Sometimes you look at it and go, oh, yeah, I'm not sure about that. But other times you look at it like this weekend at Sandown and you go, yeah, I've got to be there.
Yeah, I know, 100%. Yeah, last Shannon's Nationals round wasn't too hot with the support categories. But yeah, this weekend's going to be absolutely mega. I think they're starting when they're allowed to at 9 and they're finishing at 6 when the track has to be shut. So I can't wait to see all the action this weekend.
So you guys have got race on Saturday and 2 races Sunday?
Yes.
As per usual?
Yeah.
What about that? I mean, they've done it basically for television reasons and for production reasons, but what do you think about that, sort of having the 2 races so close together on Sunday and not being able to sort of work on the cars? I mean, that's got to be... If you have something relatively minor go, that must be really frustrating.
Yeah, oh yeah, it certainly is frustrating. We had a slight contact with, I think it was Bridie at Taylor Bend in race 2, and then just got out for race 3 with still slightly bent car. But yeah, it'd be nice. Hopefully next year we can space them races out a bit more, so we've got some more time to relax and then get back out there for the last race. Something
that you just mentioned was, and Jason Bright, for example, you're racing up against. Are you bewildered or a little bit perturbed about the racing, the identities that you know? Some of them are a lot of ex-drivers in different categories who you've probably grown up as heroes, or they're posters on people's walls and stuff like that. There's a lot of great guys and a lot of great fellas, and do you go up against them and just rub off their shoulder a little bit for a few seconds and say, give me a bit of your racing luck that you've had over the years? Yeah, I've certainly been trying to get as much as I can off Russell Ingall, and I'm pretty sure I still got most of the field's posters up my wall at home, but I won't tell them that. Yep. But it's great racing against guys like that, and you're just trying to earn their respect as quickly as possible to then sort of go wheel to wheel with that. And I think has a couple a couple come up to you and given you a few tips and just said maybe try that next time or like that, a bit of mutual respect? Yeah, everyone's been really good, especially Russell's been the best so far. He's obviously, we're in the same team, so we spend a lot of time together, but yeah, helping me with developing me a bit more with my passing racecraft and constantly putting pressure on guys out there. If there's somebody who knows about putting pressure on guys, it's certainly the enforcer, Russell Ingall, isn't it? Yeah, 100% exactly. So it's sort of the best person to learn off for the time being. And that is one of the really good things about TCR, is the fact that there's people like you and Will Brown and those sort of people, Nathan Morgan, all those young guys in there, but you've got your Jason Brights and sometimes Garth Tander and those sort of people getting involved as well. So yeah, it's great racing, and we've got variety, we've got all those things that we just haven't had for years from the supercars. But look, good luck on the weekend. I'm sure if people go out there, you can see it live streaming as well, but you can also head out there, and that's probably the thing to do, because you're going to want to be a part of history. S5000 for the first time, it's going to be amazing. Yes, 100%. I can't wait to see him hit their first laps this weekend, and as well as all the other categories, and especially TCR. Okay, Aaron Cameron, good luck for the weekend, and thanks for joining us in Pit Lane. Sweet, thank you very much. Now, to take us out, we're going to be joined by Interstellar Gator, and they're playing all over the place. They're playing at the Workers Club in Fitzroy. They're playing it upstairs at Revolver. They're playing at Boney City on November the 7th. But right now, they're going to take us out for the end of the night with their song, which is Stress-Free Consultancy, I believe. So we all need a bit of stress-free consultancy. Ladies and gentlemen, to take us out, Interstellar Gator. Good night.
You want to be a loosened up lobotomy. me, a joke that's all but seriously. I've got the goods to set you free. You're feeling Frisco, wanna get in the groove, non-panic disco. Back down, don't know who to see. Stop on by the consultancy. Half of one is a yellow and a green. Now my pocket feel awfully. Come on, Ty, give us some more. Wanna reach the skies. Hit the floor. Get on me, just take me home. I'm feeling real sick. It's